Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Owen talks about sports and movies. Thank you for checking out today's video. I always appreciate the support. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss out on any of the fun. With that being said, let's get into the video. So today, John Owen is also going to talk about video games as the new Pokemon games, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet have just released. I personally got a copy of Pokemon Violet. And so I'm going to be talking through my thoughts through the game, what I thought about it, et cetera, et cetera. But overall, I loved it. I thought it was really inventive and cool, and it's a great new take on the series. And I'm going to dive into exactly what I mean by that. But make sure you guys leave your thoughts about the game down below if you've been able to play through it. Which one did you play? Things like that. I'm also going to issue a spoiler alert for any story spoilers or like Pokemon related spoilers as far as like evolutions, um, or things, of that nature. And so, yeah, but with all that out of the way, we're going to get into our criteria. So the criteria for what I'll be judging this game on are gameplay, story, characters. What I always judge games off of what has been entailed in my last two game reviews of Gotham Knights and God of War Ragnarok, which you should also check out. But also, additionally, we are going to have the Pokedex criteria, just because that is such a crucial aspect of every Pokemon game, obviously. So with all that, let's go. So first, we're going to talk about gameplay. So Terrestrialize is our new game mechanic. It's our new Dynamax, Mega Evolution, Z moves. Um, it's solid. It's okay. I think it is very useful. Especially from an offensive standpoint. It really did help with just sweeping through the gyms, or if you're in a tough spot. I think maybe from like a coolness factor, I'd probably find that the least or the third least cool. I would have to say that Megas and Dynamax are probably like cooler and like scale or design or something like that than terrestrialization. But it is useful. It is good. It's what we got. I don't really have any complaints about it. Auto battles. Oh my god, I love this. It just made everything so much easier to grind out. Oh my gosh. The one thing I always hate about having to do in Pokemon games is have to grind to level up. Like, go out of my way to just sit there and just level up for the sake of leveling up. Um, that is just tedious and repetitive and just boring and boring. So the auto battles, I love how you can just send your Pokemon out and it can just go crave violence. It can just go destroy Pokemon at its own leisure. I loved it. It was great. It was great. It was awesome, especially early on in the game because you get a lot of experience from it. For some reason, like the scale at which you gain experience from the auto battles, like drastically decreases. Not just because of like the level that your Pokemon are at, but like for example, when I was in the Great Crater and I was trying to level up some lower level Pokemon, I didn't feel like the amount of experience they were earning from the auto battles was what they should have been. But regardless, it's a great feature. One thing you must note is that Pokemon will not evolve and they will not learn moves if they level up during an auto battle. So just make sure to keep that in mind. That's something I had to figure out because like I was auto battling to try to evolve my Sandile and it didn't evolve. So then I like did it in a normal battle and it worked. So that's just something to keep in mind. Um, let's talk about the open world because that was this game's big selling point, and it's great. It is huge. This map is so big. Um, but I think this game does a good job of balancing out how much you can explore just because, a lack of level scaling and the fact that whether you have Miraidon or Koraidon, um, you have to complete story beats in order for them to have more like accessibility options or to have more mobility options. And so I love how you can just go, like, for example, I collected, like, I knew what team I wanted, so I was able to go get them. And I had all of them, hit everyone in my team before I really took charge on the gyms, as opposed to, like, let's say you're playing Black and White and you want a Haxorus. Axew is locked way late into the game. And then you have to, like, level him up or level it up, like, till it evolves. But in this game, you can get Axew as early as your heart desires, and then you can have him the whole time, and then it would be able to level up with your entire team. So I just think that was really cool. Like for example, like I got the starter, and then I think I got Flamigo next. Um, and I picked up pretty much everyone, but I really wanted to use Toddler and Titan because I really liked Titan from the trailer. And so I went completely out of my way on the other side of the map from anywhere that I needed to go, and I got Toddler, and I got the Ice Stone, and then I had Titan. And it was great, and I love that. I love that. It was just it's just a really smart new way, especially with the way games are trending towards open worlds, that you can just kind of explore and go at your own leisure and your own pace. I think it's great. I love it. It's definitely more inventive than just like the set path that you go on old Pokemon games. Which I'm not saying that as a knock. I'm just saying that it is very fun. But I think it does a good job of limiting, so you don't just go explore everything and then go back and all of your gyms, your team's all level 60, and then you go fight the second gym in level order. Um, and they just and then it's overpowered. I already ran into that a little bit. But I love the open world. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think it's so smart. I think it makes so much sense. And having a vehicle that your Pokemon's really cool, but we'll dive into that in a second. The team maker, I love it. It's always interesting how each game approaches TMs and TRs and HMs stuff like that differently. Like for example, like Black and White, every move was as usable as much as you wanted to. I love that. I love that. But in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you can only use each move once. But in Sword and Shield, they had TMs that you could use as many times as you wanted, but you had TRs that were one use for each disc, which I thought was really cool as well. But I like the way that this game kind of balances, where it's like, hey, like, yeah, you can all like in BDSP, you get one earthquake or like whatever, and that's it. You have to use your one earthquake one time. This, where it's like, hey, like you can only use this earthquake disc once, but you can continue to make more. Like for example, I made 2 drain punches and I gave them to my Iron Hands and my Iron Valiant. Stuff like that. So I really like the team maker. Glitches in performance and graphics, to throw that in there. Yes, definitely by far and away this game's biggest flaw. Honestly, I didn't run into any of the big mega glitches that people were running into, but like definitely like the frame rates that like background characters and background Pokemon would move at were super slow. Definitely, and yeah, the graphics, it's not super great. We're not playing God of War Ragnarok on the Switch. And so yeah, I would definitely say that's that game's biggest flaw, but I don't think it takes away from the experience at all. Um, like really, like it didn't stop me from playing it. It wasn't so buggy or so bad that I had to stop playing and put it down. I really didn't run into that. And I know that's something that they'll probably just patch. So, yeah, definitely if you want to complain about the glitches, performance, graphics, kind of just the performance of this game, I could see it, and I would definitely not object to that criticism. But I really don't think it takes away from the experience of this incredibly fun game. So next we got story. So there's basically 3 stories here. You got the gyms, Team Star, which is the evil team, and then the Herba Mystica. The gyms in the Elite Four, they were an absolute breeze. Gita, worst champion I've ever played. Um, but like I haven't played X and Y, and apparently Diantha's really easy. But like out of all the champions I've faced, Gita was just incredibly easy. I mean, there was no resistance. None. I mean, she doesn't. I don't even know if she like has any just like super duper strong Pokemon. Like she's got King Gambit, but literally my Flamingo one shotted him with a low sweep. Like my Flamigo. Like she has a Go-Go. I like Go-Go, but a Go-Go on your champion team when you can pick any grass type, it's just stuff like that. So I really didn't. So she was really easy. All the gyms were pretty easy. I didn't really struggle with any of them. Like the Elite Four was so easy. I swept the ground grow with my Crocodile. Now my Crocodile had the Moxie ability, so that definitely helped. But like, I did one Home Claws against the Whiscash, who didn't even hit half of my HP, and I wasn't like 10 levels over. I was like 3 or 4 maybe. And then I just earthquake the rest of them. Literally her entire ground type team. It's not even weak to ground. So they were easy, but the personalities of all of them were funny. I think Larry has pretty much stolen everybody's hearts going away um, in these games, which is. I also like how like this is like their side job. Every one of them being a gym leader is their side job. Like legitimately, they're just like, yeah, this is my side gig, which I think is really funny. But they are really really easy. Definitely being able to battle them in any order is cool. I did wish they did level scale, but at the same time, that's okay. Um, but they are really easy. But I did have a good time like playing through it because it's getting the gym badges and there's always some like uh always a level of excitement of like clearing that. But they also have all great, very distinct personalities. Not all of them likable, as one another, but like Larry, Rhyme, Tulip, those were like some of my standouts, and I really, really, really liked their personalities. Team Star, they're definitely not evil at all. But it's a very sad storyline. They were getting bullied at school, and then they try to retaliate their bullies, and then they're the ones that got in trouble. And so I think that like obviously we've had some just like pure evil teams, like just purely evil teams, and we've had some like Team Yell was really bad from Sword and Shield. Um, and so but I think Team Star was cool. I really did enjoy playing through their storyline and learning more about them. Um, and seeing like their motivations all made sense. I mean, like they were being bullied at school, and they're just trying to find a place where they feel safe and they feel comfortable, and where they're not going to get bullied. I mean, I think that is incredibly understandable and incredibly sympathetic. Um, I understand if maybe you're a classist or a classicist, and you like the teams that are just purely evil. But see some of the discourse I've seen on them being the worst evil team, I think is really out of line. Also, they by far and away have one of the hardest fights in the whole game. Ari, whatever the fighting type Team Star boss, she beat the hell out of me the first time I fought her. Granted, I was slightly under level, but I mean, she beat me bad, you know. Um, and so, um, and so they weren't easy per se, and so I enjoyed it. And then the Herba Mystica, oh my god, the whole thing about Arvin and his parent, depending on the I'm also throwing the Great Crater kind of storyline in here, so I'm kind of merging them. And his Master Boss Fist, storyline of trying to heal him. Just the pure emotion Arvin shows when he literally falls to his knees because he's so moved by his connection to this Pokemon, and I think that's something that's very resonating because like we form very strong attachment to these Pokemon whenever we play these games. That's why we play them. We don't play Pokemon for graphics or story. It's about the journey. And Arvin is just like has such a great moving story about him literally just trying to save this dog or his Pokemon that got him through his parent literally not being there, like legitimately. And so I thought all three of the stories were good. I definitely probably found the gem slash elite four the least intriguing, but that's only because of how easy it really ended up being. So characters, Nomura, I thought Nomura was a great rival. Definitely an upgrade over Hop, which I don't dislike Hop, but um, where she's not necessarily your rival because she's your friend. But she does put up a pretty good fight, from time to time, and um, and then she's pretty much regarded as like potentially the best trainer in the entire region. I think is cool. But she was very likable, and I like the friendship was very apparent. I've touched on Arvin. Arvin's probably the best character in the whole game. Most definitely, most definitely. Penny, I like her the least out of the three like big three friends you get, but I do like her. She's okay. She's okay. Director Clavel, I really liked. I thought it was an interesting arc to watch him go from, like I have to beat Team Star, I have to disband them to understanding and learning to grow and learning to accept you know, responsibility, accountability, um, and trying to do what's best by everyone involved in the story. He doesn't. In the beginning, he's like, "Man, I'm gonna punish these kids," and then at the end, he finds a compromise that works best for everybody. So I really like that. And then Professor Toro, or uh, I don't know what the Scarlet Lady's name is, but the twist that they're dead, the professor is dead, and who you've been dealing with is an AI version of them. Oh my god, like very, very interesting, very inventive. I mean, canon. That person is dead, and then the AI dies because you defeat them, and then it shuts down. That's insane to me, and that it's Arvin's parent. Even though I definitely think I'm Averin. I don't really know how to say his name because they don't ever say it, but that's his parent. Like come on, very good. I already touched on this. Gym leaders, Elite Four, they all have distinct personalities. And the villains, I really all the team star bosses all have distinct personalities as well. And so I think overall, this is a really solid group of characters in this game that you get to interact with and deal with, and go on your little Paldean journey with them. Pokedex. Okay, so the starters. Unpopular opinion, maybe question mark. I think they hit it out of the park on all three final evolutions. When I judge starters, I just end up judging them on like their third final evolution. How good is your third final evolution? Middle evolution stages are awkward. They're like your teenage years. When you have braces and your haircut's bad. Like they're not supposed to be like god tier designs, but like Skelderidge, Quaquaval, and Masquerada. I think that's how you pronounce it. I mean, I love all three of them. I picked Fuecoco, so I ended up with Skelderidge. Um, and he was just great. I mean, he slept just so much. He did so good. And I think it's like a good little typey trio. I love when the starters get secondary types. I love that. Those are my favorite trios where the starters all get secondary types. Um, and I really generally, I mean, I think they're all three useful. I mean, like all three of them have signature moves that all have great effects. Like Skelderidge's Torch Song increases its special attack by one stage every time you use it. Quaquaval's Aqua Step raises its speed. Circuit Flower Bunch, I don't remember what it's called, but Masquerada, however you say it, sorry. Um, it's always a crit. Like, so they each have signature moves. They all have distinct designs. They're all based off of entertainers. And I just think that maybe this is an unpopular opinion, the best starter trio since Gen 4. I really genuinely like all three of them a lot. And I can't say that for 5, 6, 7, and 8. So for me personally, I think they're the best starter trio since Gen 4. Koraidon, Miraidon, I love that you get the legendary this early. And you really get to build a bond with them. I would say that I've never probably felt a bond that strong to a Pokemon than I did with Miraidon, just because of like you actually get to interact with them in cutscenes, and they're built into the story. Um, and it's just so freaking cool to be able to climb up mountains, surf in the water, fly with them. That's just so cool to me. And so I loved getting all the new legendaries this early. I'm gonna come back to the new additions, but variety and team building. I think the new Pokemon like the amount of new Pokemon is large. It's like pretty large, a pretty substantial number compared to other generations. It's either like at average or above average. And then there's a lot of returning Pokemon. I think overall there's like 396 Pokemon in the decks or 400 something around there. So it's a pretty sizable deck. So I really think you do have endless options on like how you want to build your team, which I think which is definitely helped by the open world. Because like you run into some regions and some games where you literally probably only have to run the one team. Like the Sinnoh meme. Everybody uses Infernape, Staraptor, Luxray, Buizel, Garchomp, Lucario. I've played through Sinnoh, I think I counted the other day 7 times, and I've used that team twice, that exact team twice. So I just feel like the options are really endless. Best new additions. Tinkaton is awesome. I love it. I love that little pink guy with the hammer. And the fact that it kills Corviknights, like that's canon. Super funny to me. Um, obviously all three of the starters that I mentioned I really love. So Titan that I used on my team for Rigoraph. Girafarig is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. It got an evolution. Like, I love it. Clodsire, perfect Pokemon. That Pokemon as a Squishmallow is going to sell so much money for the Pokemon Company. I can't even see it. I can't even imagine. I love Baxcalibur. Come on. An Icy Spinosaurus. Come on, man. Paradox Pokemon. So, I love Iron Valiant. I mean, come on, a Glade Gardevoir mix that has feminine and masculine features and has the blade, but has Gardevoir's hair, and it got rid of Galade's weird little like pouch thing it has. Top tier, top tier. By far and away the best Paradox Pokemon. At least in Violet. Iron Threads, I liked him. Iron Jugglets, I just felt like they didn't do much different from Hydreigon. Uh, and so I am a little sad about that because I love Hydreigon. Who else? Iron Hands was cool. And he's great for Terra Raids. I mean, dear God, Belly Drum and Drain Punch is a godly combo. Iron Thunder, I thought it was cool. I thought it was okay. I'm trying to think who else. Iron Moth, I love Volcarona. It's not very much different, but it's more different than like what Iron Juggles is compared to Hydreigon. I feel like I might be missing one. And then on the Scarlet side, I've seen all of them, and I honestly really like all the Scarlet Paradox Pokemon. What I find funny about the Scarlet Pokemon is that like uh Fluttermane and Screamtail, I think are the names, are like, they are giving kind of clout or attention to and making the single stage or these like comparatively very weak Pokemon very, very strong. I mean, I think all the Paradox Pokemon have either 570 or 590 base stat total. And so, Screamtail is basically like the better upgrade version of Jigglypuff, you know, but with a 570 base stat total. I mean, that's broken. I love that. I love that. I think that's funny. And Roaring Moon is just like every single thing a Paradox Pokemon should be. Okay, where's new additions? I'm trying to. I hate the Salt Stack Rock thing. I hate it. I hate him. Um, Unpopular opinion. I didn't love Skull Villain. I don't know. I just feel like with the new Pepper Pokemon, they could have done more. Um, oh my God, what is? What's the one I just had in my mind? Salt Stack, Skull Villain. Oh my God, the Venezuela. You know, our scooter from Gen 8, but worse. Just ugly, just an ugly design. I don't like him. Um, Esperada, the Lady Gaga bird. I liked her. I liked her. I'm just trying to think. So overall, though, I think that Scarlet and Violet. Oh, the one Pokemon that frustrates me that I like is Palafin and Finnison. Like, he's already a gimmick Pokemon. Don't make it to where you have to have another person in your lobby to make him evolve, to make it evolve. Like, please don't. Like, that's so much work. Like, it's already a gimmick Pokemon. Just let it evolve when it evolves. But that's just me personally. So that's frustrating because I wanted to use them because I love dolphins. And I understand maybe there need to be, like, you couldn't just level them up and get them, but maybe there should have been another barrier where it doesn't. It's like, I don't have any friends that play Pokemon or that have Scarlet and Violet, so, like, I don't have anyone to trade with. So, that's frustrating. That's really frustrating to me. But overall, I think the Dex is really good. So this is the team that I use. So I had Crocodile, Skilleridge, Farigiraf, Flamigo, who I just love, by the way, that it's literally just a bird. I love that. Ampharos and Satitan. Crocodile, Skeldridge, and Farafarig carried my team. I mean, they were the aces. They were my, like, they were kind of my co-aces, especially Crocodile and Skeldridge. And then Flamigo, Ampharos, and Satitan, I also loved them. They were great as well. I wasn't planning on using Ampharos, but I just can't escape it. This is the third time I've used Ampharos on a team, but I just can't escape it. It's simply probably one of the best Johto Pokemon. Maybe the best. Maybe. I'm not sure about that claim, but I freaking love that little bipedal sheep. I love him. I love it. It's great. Liberal, that was his name. Uh, he was fantastic on my team. But this was my team. I love this team. This is probably one of my teams I'm the most fond of out of any of my Pokemon teams that I've used. So overall, an incredibly ambitious and inventive game with a new and much needed twist on the Pokemon formula while still retaining what makes the games great. Scarlet and Violet make their mark in the series. Even with some performance issues and lackluster graphics, the start of Gen 9 deserves all of its flowers, rating 9.5, a wonderful addition in an iconic series. Please go get your hands on this game. You won't regret it, even if you've never played Pokemon before. So thank you for watching today's video. Make sure you guys check out all the link content above. Like, comment, subscribe so you never miss out on any of the fun. And you guys have a great day.